For this construction, we're going to talk about tangent lines. We're going to make kind of a cool looking picture with this. So you're going to use the app below. It's just a blank one. And we're going to start by drawing a circle. So you click on the tool that says circle with the center. And so you can make your circle as big or as small as you like. It doesn't matter. And what we want to do is automatically get 2 points. But we need a third point. B is not going to move on the circle. We need to find a third point. It's going to call it point C. And it has to be on the circle for this to work. So you got to select point. And then when you do that, you got to click right on the circle. You notice the arrow, the cursor will change from an arrow to a finger when you have it right on the circle. And put point C right on the circle. Now, if you've done it right, if you go and click the arrow tool, the moving tool, you can grab point C and drag it around, but it won't leave the circle. It stays on the circle, which is what we want. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a radius by connecting points A and C. Don't use point B. We're going to use A and C. B will not be able to do these other points. Point B just makes your circle bigger or smaller. If you try to move point B, it makes the circle bigger or smaller, but point B won't be able to move around the circle like point C can. Now, I just grabbed point C and start dragging it around, and it moves around the circle. And what we can do, instead of you moving it, we can tell point C to move. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to point C after we've got our radius connecting, a segment connecting points A and C. You go to point C and right-click on it, or alt-click or the two-finger click on the Chromebook. And one of the options that comes up when you do that is you go to those 3 dots and select animation, and right now the animation is turned off. If you click it, the animation will turn on, and now point C will just move around the circle and show that the radius moves all the way around the circle. Oh, how cute. Now, in order to finish this, we got to stop it. You're never going to be able to click on point C again because it's moving all over the place. On the bottom left here is a pause button. If you click on the pause button, the picture will stop moving, and you can hit play again when you want it to move again. But what we want to do is draw a tangent line that's tangent to the circle at point C. Now, there's a couple special rules about tangents. The first rule is that the tangent never goes inside the circle. The second rule is that the tangent makes a right angle with the radius it touches. See, the tangent's going to touch a point C. It's going to touch the circle in that one spot. It's called the point of tangency. And it's going to make a right angle with the radius that touches point C. So what we're going to do is we're going to create our tangent by making a line that makes a right angle. We call that a perpendicular line. So you got to go over to More Tools. So under More, we're going to find Perpendicular Line. Not perpendicular bisector, not parallel line, but perpendicular line. So pick our Perpendicular Line tool. You'll click once on the radius, saying we wanted our line to make a right angle with it, and then once on point C to tell it to stay on point C. Now, before I touch the screen again, I'm going to hit the arrow button so I can move stuff around. Now, if I move point C, that line stays connected to point C and stays making a right angle with my tangent. You can hit the play button on the bottom of the screen, and that tangent line will move all the way around the circle. And as it moves around the circle, you'll see that it never goes inside the circle. And that's part of the point of a tangent line. It only touches the circle at one point. Now, I'm going to pause it, and we're going to do something to make this into a kind of a cool design. We're going to change the color of our tangent line. So I'm going to click on the tangent line, and I get this little menu up, and I'm going to click the paint can, and I'm going to make mine blue. You make yours red. Make yours a different color than me. Or you can click the plus button and pick some other color. But the one color you can't pick, don't pick the blue that comes up here. So mine's blue. And now it's going to move. It'll just be a blue line moving, but we're going to do one other thing. We're going to show a trace. That means it's going to trace where this line has been. So once again, I'm going to click on the line, and go to the 3 dots. And one of the options is Show Trace. We're going to select that. And now, when you hit play down here, everywhere that line goes, it'll show the trace of where that line has been. So you can get kind of a cool design with the tangent line. Now, all the blue lines you see on my screen, and theoretically the red or green or whatever color you got on your screen, they're all tangent lines. And no matter where that tangent line is drawn, it doesn't go inside the circle. It goes all around the circle instead. And just to make our picture a little bit cooler, we're going to do one more step here. So we're going to pause our animation. And then if you want to get rid of all these lines that have popped up, because now you can't even use your picture, just hit the back button and they'll go away. And we're going to put another point on the circle. And so I'm going to select the point tool, and I'm going to click somewhere in the circle. Maybe I'll click on the opposite from point C. And point D comes up. And again, it's got to stay right on the circle. We'll do the same thing. We'll draw a radius from A to D, and then a perpendicular line, so a tangent line going through point D. And now this line, we're going to make a different color, just to show you some fun animations here. And I'll make mine, I'll go to a separate color. I'll make mine orange. And I'm going to take both lines again and tell them to turn on the trace. So show the trace for both of them. And then hit play. Oh, I didn't animate this one. And then I'm going to animate both lines. Ooh, so I'm going to hit the animation on. Wait a minute, right now. And now we can get kind of a cool design as the two different sets of tangents go around the circle. And the key thing you got to remember here is a tangent line touches the circle at one point. It never goes inside the circle, and it makes a right angle with the radius that it touches.